What's up, players? Just real quick, jumping at you guys. I'm editing the episode of Toonin that's supposed to come out right now that you're watching. Actually, if you clicked on this, just as a quick heads up, we we've been experimenting with how we're kind of running everything, and we've had, you could say, a few hiccups and bumps along the way, and this one is rougher than most. So I'm doing what I can to salvage this episode, but I know the next one is going to be a little bit rough too. We're slowly but figuring it out, and we have a bunch in the tank, but because of how I'm getting to them edited, it's just it'll be a second. So a quick apology for that. No, we do know the issues, and we are taking steps to fix them.
What's up, homies? This is Marcus coming at you live. Dude, we're gonna get way too loud for that, Jane. Gonna have to turn the gain down, dang it!
Our gains are too hot, too big.
You don't need two of them.
Yes, you do.
It's, hey, you wanna know what the weird thing is?
Huh?
You don't need two of them, though. When we were in California...
You were just like that all the time because the air's so bad?
Got him! Suck it, Callie! Check it out. Somebody called Justin Timberlake Nip Slip. Hey everybody, welcome to Toonin. This is the podcast where me, Marcus, and my co-host,
Fernando.
Karsten, I freaking hate you. I don't know why that was funny. Where me and my co-host Karsten talk about cartoons that we believe are made for all ages and try to encourage you grown-ups to maybe get together with more grown-ups. If you're a teenager, maybe try to get together with your younger siblings. Or
No, screw that. Go to the orphanage and watch cartoons with orphans.
you do need to, I think, just as a community, we need to be nicer to orphans. So if you don't have any younger siblings or anything, get, like, the point of our show is to talk to older people to say, hey, there are cartoons and things that are made for all ages that you might have written off as being for kids, and there are a lot of kids shows that suck butt and are made for dumb idiots. Not kids, because I believe that kids are not dumb idiots. So, the beauty of the shows we're talking is they are literally made for all ages. They are thought-provoking enough to challenge kids and deep enough to a kid to watch and be challenged, and also entertaining and well-written enough for an adult to watch without wanting to pull their hair out. Yeah. That's the whole idea. Right now we're talking about Dragon Prince Season 2 on Netflix.
So good.
It owns bones. So, we left off wherever the heck we left off last time. We're not talking about last week's episode. We're talking about episode 7. Episode 6, do you want to know what the theme of that episode is?
The 6th episode?
No, here, you ready? 525,600 minutes. 525,000 moments, oh dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, and midnights, and cups of coffee, in inches, and miles, and laughter, and strife, in 565,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in a life? How about love? How about love? Because if you think about it, that's literally the point of Harem's letter to Callum.
And it's not harem, it's harrow.
Heroin?
You said a harem's letter.
His name's Heroin, you said?
Yes.
So King Heroin essentially wrote the Seasons of Love song to his kid to say, hey, get good.
He was ahead of his time.
Or behind his time by a lot. It all depends on how you look at it.
Yep.
So this episode again, like, this episode didn't even have an A plot and a B plot. It's like just super split. I guess
it was just kind of finishing the story from last time.
Yeah, this show might as well be a very long movie.
They could do it.
Every episode just picks up exactly where the last one left off. Like, a lot of shows there's like implied time between episodes and stuff, or it's ambiguous about that. This show's just like, nope, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. It's like, it's kind of just a long movie up to this point. Counting season 1.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining though. So, what was I gonna say? Frick! Oh, so this is Callum actually reading the letter from his dad.
Yeah, he eventually just decides, you know what, screw it, I gotta read this letter. So he opens it up. He starts reading.
And did you get a little misty when you watched this?
No.
I didn't this time. I did the first time. It was rough. And it's just King Heroin talking to Callum about how you should not do what he did and always use clean needles. Dude, it was another Rent joke. No, it's King Heroin talking about his future for the kid. But like, no, when he's like talking like when he's talking like your dad died. Suck it, you little baby idiot. I can't believe you had such a wimp dad. No, when he's like, hey, your dad died.
I am the superior life form.
But I got turned into a bird, so it's irony if you think about it. No, he's like, yeah, your dad died and then I married your mom, and he's like, I feel like I was super distant to you, and like, I don't know, it's him talking about the struggle of being a stepdad, like, I wanted to be there for you, and show you that I loved you and take care of you the best that I could.
I didn't want you to think I was trying to replace your father.
Yeah, and he's like, you kind of learn, like, his whole life, he's like, I think no matter what I did, I felt like I was doing the wrong thing with you. And he's like, but I'm going to talk to you as an adult, I'm going to share stuff with you, and he's like, I'm going to be super dead here. I like how, so he talks about how, he got his revenge on Zadia, which we kind of can infer due to the ending of this episode. Mm-hmm. Since we're spoiling the whole thing, his wife dies in the flashback that Viren's the queen dies, and her name's Sarabi. Sarabi
is Simba's mother.
Yep, Sarabi.
Sarabi and Hera.
So like this kind of brings up 2 points I want to talk about. Both these parts. So Viren. They get the Titan Heart, but they're running behind schedule, so the dragon comes.
And it's like, surprise.
Surprise, mother. And then Viren wants to try to help, so he goes back, and between this how he got his revenge and stuff. Mm-hmm. This show, I think, is doing a really good the villain of this show, clearly. Like, he's the villain, I get it. But, like, also, you learn, like, a little bit, like, he's jaded, and, like, he wanted nothing more than to help his friend, and then there and be with her while she died, rather than continuing trying to save himself. And then, like, the king, who's been much because the dragon killed his wife for trespassing. Mm-hmm. Like, again, we have the theory about the king being inside the bird. And I think that, like, as much as Viren is a villain, like, he couldn't bring himself to kill his best friend. No, what? It is the case?
No, it's the case that he actually just straight up killed him.
No, that's bad writing then. And I think that I give this show too much credit for that. Like, whether they can bring the king out of the bird body or not, I don't know. But, like, the king's in there for sure. It's, like, interesting and stuff like, Viren's not 100% a villain, and that's interesting to think about.
Boy, I'm tired. Keep going.
Yeah, I know. And then, but like, it's just that story. Like, again, this is a boat episode in the sense that they're on a boat and not a lot happens.
Yeah.
However, it kind of owns.
Yeah, because backstory is always nice to have, like world building and lore.
And also just dynamic between Rayla and the pirate.
Yeah, and the captain. He gives some pretty solid life advice to her. He's like, life is like a river. And she's like, oh, great, I hate water. Not this again. And then he, like, goes on this thing and he says, life's like a river in that, like, it twists and turns, so you can't see where it's going. And you can't do anything to change where it's going.
And then he also asked what she did for a living, and she said she was an assassin. And then she said, well, I haven't killed anybody yet. And he tells her not to give up on her dreams. And it's one of the funniest things that we've seen in the show.
Yeah.
No, stop. I want to be able to watch the levels. Frick. Do you think this episode was leaning a little bit towards the idea of revisionist history?
Kinda.
So, like, that's an interesting thing to think about, because, like, I say this as somebody who doesn't like history. Like, the subject in school, I hated history, I hated all of the... But I believe that we should know what happened and why, and stuff like that. I don't think we should change it, and, like, it's an interesting thing to think about. So, like, I think there's kind of... I think they left it a little vague.
Yeah.
Intentionally. So, like, you could take his speech as saying, like,
Don't dwell on the past.
Don't dwell on the past. Always be learning from the past to make the future a better place, which is something I can agree with. But also, it seemed kind of like
it also had some vibes of the past isn't important.
The past isn't important, and you need to like
kind
of like revisionist history, like kind of like if we change the idea of the past, the future can become better.
Mm-hmm.
And I disagree with that. It was just an interesting thing to think about, and I'm wondering what the intent was.
Right.
Because I think you can take it either of those ways, and it makes sense still. And I agree with one of them. I disagree with the other.
Maybe it was left vague intentionally so that people could draw their own meaning from it.
Like a Green Day album.
Yes.
In case you don't, Green Day is notorious for being very outspoken about politics and interview and stuff. But in most of their music,
they're walking lonely roads.
It's really vague about. It's more like don't be a sheeple, and vaguely screw the man, because of that way conservatives can also like it because conservative thinks leftists are the sheeple. So like, you can be as outspoken as you want on certain things, but if you make your art vague enough to where everybody can agree with it, then more people buy your stuff.
Yeah.
So,
what led you to make this decision? I like money!
Yeah. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, Billy Joel is like... Not Billy Joel, Billy Joe. Billy Joe Armstrong is his name. Is a smart guy. I think he's a good songwriter. But, I think he's too smart for me to not say a lot of the stuff's left intentionally vague for that reason. Whew. But, like, besides that, this show has a lot of good moments.
Yeah.
Like, this episode. You know what I mean? Like, there's so little happened. You've kind of finished the story. Oh.
Yeah, they're kind of just tying up the loose ends now.
Officially, the little girl said no, and then everything kind of falls apart for Viren's invasion plan. I need to get back into the gym. It's been like a week. It's only been a week, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Screw me. I've worked so many hours this week, though. I'm so tired.
Making that money.
I'm rich!
Than me.
I have so many dollars!
At least 10.
Probably 7, dude.
Oh.
Is that more?
Yes. It's golf. Less is more.
Can you think that's
In
what
which
homeless?
case,
You think
I
that's
am
what
winning.
homeless people tell themselves every day?
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more. Jesus Christ.
Sits in cardboard box with sign.
I was gonna say looks into the mirror and cries, but he can't afford a mirror, so he's like looks in a puddle. Less is more. Remember, less is more.
Gets splashed by oncoming car.
Dang it. Are you allowed to
Brighton
make fun of
stars.
homeless people? Talk about the dragon design. Dope. The thing just looks so cool. Like, again, there's a lot of action, and like we're not gonna describe to you the action because watch the show. It's on Netflix. Everybody has it. Until Disney Plus comes out.
Then
Everybody has Netflix, so go watch The Dragon Prince.
Yeah.
Just do it. You know what I was thinking? I want Disney Plus. A lot of cool stuff seems like it's gonna be on it.
I'm just getting it for The Mandalorian.
I'm getting it for like a lot of the Marvel shows too, but whatever. I might let my Netflix subscription run out. But you want to know what?
What?
I would pick it up when the like that good. I'm saying paying for Netflix for at least a month just to watch the next season of this show is worth it. The show rules. And I want to talk about that a ton. Is there anything else about this first episode? I think also we talked about how little we talked last week in comparison to Avatar. Avatar's moving 1,000 miles an hour all the time. I think sometimes to a fault. The pacing of the second and third season are much better. Not important though. This and written brilliantly in the sense that like you can watch an episode where not a lot happens, but it's supposed to kind of feel the drag of their journey, like it's taking a long time. And it's so brilliantly written, you don't care about how long it takes. Especially the second season. The first season had more hiccups in it. This one hasn't yet.
Yeah, I have not experienced any point in this show where I'm just like, okay, keep going, come on, push the storyline. Like, it's been so well written, and the pacing and the characters have been so great. The execution is flawless. Like, I haven't ever had a point where I've been, like, bored or, like, ready to move on. It's always been, like, it always just keeps hitting you with something new. And, like, they do a really good job at, like, cutting off, like, but cutting from the B plot and the A plot and stuff like that, switching between the two in a way where, like, when you leave that, you're just like, okay, I can't wait for them to pick that back up because I want to know more.
Or even, like, there, and especially in this episode, there's not even, like, an A plot and a B plot, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm just talking in general.
But, like, I'm saying, like, this particular episode, they're both A plots.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that they manage to juggle two main stories and also have, like, time for little B-plot kind of stuff, like, or little jokes to kind of add levity to the show so kids, you know what I mean? Like, the conversation that Rayla has where, like, she learned something was also funny, or little, like, scenes with bait and stuff here and there.
Right.
It's just really good. Like, I love TV, and I've watched a lot of TV, and we're about to go to the commercial break, but I kind of want to end on this. I've seen a lot of TV shows, and I'm very critical of them very oftentimes. I've seen a little bit more than you have. Actually, we've seen the same amount. I've not seen past what we watched today. I think Dragon Prince Season 2, I would give Season 1 like an 8 out of 10. I think Season 2 is a 10 out of 10 so far. Like, I think...
Is it on par with Heroes?
Yeah, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Dragon Prince Season 2 might be a perfect season of TV. It has been so far. Like, we'll see how they do in the last 2 episodes of the season. But Season 2 rules. So far. Like, I can't think of anything narratively or anything that brings me out of it to not give it a 10. I was trying to think of other seasons that do that. Probably Season 1 and 2, maybe, of Lost. probably Perfect
No,
10.
definitely season 5 of Lost.
We'll probably see. No, dude, have you seen season 6 of Lost? Screw me. Breaking Bad's really good.
Season 7 is just as good.
There's only 6 seasons of Lost.
No, season 7 is the secret season that only a few people know about. They keep it in the Disney vault.
Because Disney owns Lost?
Just the 7th season.
I hate you. Have you seen Breaking Bad ever?
Nope.
That's probably the best TV show I've ever seen. As far as consistency across the board, Breaking Bad rules. It's so whatever. I occasionally have this desire to do a podcast that's just about regular TV. But I don't know anybody enough who has enough time to watch enough TV like I do. So like, dang it. But I like to talk about it sometimes. So I usually talk about it on our podcast, and then it gets edited out because it has nothing to do with the show we're talking about, and it's not funny. So
Yep.
it's more like, hey Carson, I'm going to trap you in this conversation by recording a podcast, and then make you talk about other TV shows. Let's go to the commercial break. So, if you do a good visual bit, like standing up like this, it'll be easy for me to find the commercial break when I have to take the pause out, and I can write down the timestamps and stuff. It's way easier.
Nice.
Trust me.
So what do you insert during the commercial break?
I insert the actual ad on Anchor. Do you listen to it digitally, or do you listen to the video?
No, I mean, like, I haven't seen the video yet.
No, do you listen to it on YouTube, or do you listen to it on Anchor, like the podcast catcher?
I listened to it on iTunes.
Okay, so so it gets an Anchor ad to it, right?
Right, but I mean, like, in the video, what do you insert?
We
like,
usually talk about I mean, we can talk about Anchor, like, but we usually talk about Audible.
Okay,
and
so
merch.
you don't have that inserted on the
No,
video?
we have to talk about it.
Okay.
Like we're doing now. Hey, so if you're here, you can go check us out on the podcast catcher, or on any of your podcast catchers. We have a sponsorship with Anchor. If you know what Anchor is a... I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it. It's like a middleman between you and all forms of podcasts, right? So monetizing, podcasting, and doing all kinds of things like that are really hard and really complicated. And Anchor acts as a kind of middleman for all of that. So just by signing up to use Anchor and having everything go up there and that be a way that you can do that means a few things. But one of those things being that if you listen to a podcast on Anchor, you get an ad. Would you get an ad in the middle of our episode?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, that's what I thought. So Anchor not only allows you to like post it everywhere, so it helps middlemen like manage. So it goes to iTunes, it goes to BeyondPod, it goes to all those things. On top of that, gives you an ad. So just by signing up, you get an ad for Anchor. It's not the best rates. However, we do get a kickback per listen that hits. But if you listen far enough and hit that ad, we get kickback from that. We do get a little bit of money. It's really little, but we're not doing anything actively for that. We're amateur podcasters who have 88, 89?
Something like that.
We just got another one today. To do this. Like, that's really cool. So big thanks to Anchor. Thank you for doing that. I care about podcasting and the world and the culture around it beyond just I want to be able to do it for a living and stuff like that someday, and I like doing it. I listen to other podcasts and stuff, so I'm thankful for a service like Anchor existing to kind of help people do that. Because podcasting gives... I'm the weird nerd who will, like, listen to anybody who's interested enough, and there's a lot of weird, interesting people who can just get a mic and then have time to do it because Anchor helps them out and stuff. So, big thank you for that. Thanks for helping us out, Anchor. Also, we have Audible subscription. We're supposed to recommend books. I don't read enough. My brother...
Anything in the Redwall series is good.
Yeah. What's your favorite? Hit me with your favorite. I'll throw my favorite out there.
My favorite was probably Martin the Warrior. That's like book 3, I think. It's been for. It
My
might just be called
favorite-
Martin.
No, it's Martin the Warrior.
Okay.
Mossflower.
That was a
Which is
good
book
one.
2. Mossflower rules. They're both about Martin. I think Matthias kind of is a baby, so...
Wait, no. Martin was book 4.
Yeah, because it goes like...
It's
It goes Redwall, Mossflower,
Mossflower.
Matameo, Martin the Warrior.
Yeah.
I like Mossflower a lot, and then book 7 is Salamandastron, which...
I got halfway through that book.
Salamandastron rules, dude.
Like, it was a good book. I just only got halfway through it because the little 11-year-old me hated reading.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I remember it being longer than the other ones. I don't know if that's true. I just remember it being that way. I listened to it on audiobook. Audible's great, but Redwall, to kind of tell you guys what it's about. Think like medieval, like battles, like swords and knights and
Castles
chivalry
and
and
knights
castles and
and
stuff like that.
Monks.
But everything's portrayed by rodents
Woodland critters.
who are. I mean, the size is skewed.
They never say what... They never, like, give official scale, and it's way
Yeah,
off.
but they never give because the idea is in like Matameo, the main villain is a fox, and you're following a mouse hero, and in real life, a mouse is never going to beat a fox in a fight. So like the scales are off. They kind of like yes, a fox is going to be bigger than a mouse, but not so much bigger that like it couldn't win in a fight. And same with like a badger's the biggest animal they really talk about, but the badger's not just so much bigger than the other one. So they play with scale a lot in those books, but they're really good. Salamandastron's about a badger who lives in a cave, and a bunch of like sea pirates attack, and he kind of goes, "Nah, dog," and it's just about like it's a whole thing as a siege on this special mountain with this badger lord who lives inside. It's really good. Martin the Warrior's about
Martin the Warrior.
it's about a slave pretty much overthrowing his oppressors, and it's really good. So thank you to Audible for that. If you guys go to audible.com with the link in the description, I believe it's just it's audible.com/WackMatters. You can get a 30-day free trial.
Doubled that right there just
Yep.
for you guys.
Well, we get 15 apiece, so you know how it goes. I guess we just talk about the Dragon Prince more if we have to.
Or we could just do ads for the rest of the episode.
Oh, we also have a merch link, but we usually talk about that at the end. But
Yeah.
should we talk about the merch in the commercial?
Let's just do it where we normally put it. So Marcus, you know what I love about TV shows?
What?
In TV shows, you have so much time to work with that, like, you can actually properly develop your characters and you can properly build your world. Like with a movie, you don't really have a whole lot of time to like really flesh out your characters or anything like that.
So here's a fun.
Like it can be done. It's just really hard to do. But like with TV shows, you really get to know the characters and you get to spend so much time with them.
So here's a fun thing that I got really mad about in a conversation with my brother the other day. I was talking about how that's a huge benefit to TV, right? The ability to do real solid character work. I love that. I think that's one of the reasons I like TV so much. I like character work a lot more than I like plot most of the time. Like, you can give me a bad plot, and if you have like really solid, interesting characters, I can suck up the stupid plot because I care about the characters. And it doesn't work vice versa. If you have crappy characters but a sick plot, I'll like it less, and that's a personal opinion. But I think TV shows are notorious for writing characters poorly and inconsistently, and I get really frustrated at that because the biggest benefit they have over because movies have better budgets, and that means they have better CG, and they have better actors usually because they have super. And there are TV actors who just knock it out of the park and you believe it. I'm not trying to disparage that, but I'm saying when you think of A-list top-tier actors, you're usually thinking of your Leos, your JGFs, you're thinking of your Christian Bale, you're thinking of Shia LaBeouf. Did you know people consider Shia LaBeouf as to be one of the best actors of this generation? It's just he's also a crazy person. So you know what I mean? You think of those top two talents. They're movie actors now. They're not in TV anymore. George Clooney, he acts in movies, right?
Right.
So like so they have all this budget to like spend on like these great actors and this great CG and all this stuff, but like they lose some of that character development. So like one of the biggest benefits that TV has over movies is they have the time to do good character work, and more often than not, characters are written like butt trash in a lot of shows, and it sucks.
But you know, the thing is, Dragon Prince has done such a good job at like writing the characters that like we not only have a fantastic plot that we've now experienced for, I don't know how many episodes were in the first season, like 12? 9 episodes.
They're
in the
doing
first
9
season?
episode seasons.
Yeah. So for almost 18 episodes now, we've had a fantastic plot. We've had fantastic characters. And the whole trip has just been phenomenal. And I've absolutely loved that about the show.
And, like, natural world building, like, world building not for world building's sake or anything like that, like, you're watching these characters develop, and kind of by watching them develop and, like, following their storylines, you're learning a lot about the world.
Right.
So, like, him wanting to be a wizard and learning how to do magic taught us about the magic system in Zadia, right? And the world that they're living in. And that's...
It wasn't just something that was shoved down our throats at the beginning.
Yeah,
or
it was...
at some random point.
Yeah.
Like, they actually made it into the story.
Yes, and like, everything... It's almost like when telling a narrative and storytelling come first 100% of the time. Which is why I like...
They do such a great job with it. And I'm kind of getting really sad that we're nearing the end.
You had the thought that there's only 2 episodes left, and you're like, oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Like, what happens in this episode? Take it away.
Up with Claudia and Soren, and oof, I hurt. And they got the tracker guy tied up so they could have him imprisoned for being a traitor. And as they approach this one little town, they enter. And we get this little banter between the tracker guy. I cannot remember his name for the life of me.
I don't remember either.
Yeah, between this tracker and Soren, the tracker guy's just like, untie me and I'll help you. I'll go scout out that town and then tell you if it's safe to go in. And Soren's just like, okay, wait, no, I'm not gonna let you do that. And like we get this fun little banter between them, like arguing, because like the tracker's trying to convince Soren that no, I won't run away, but Soren isn't buying any of it. So they finally get into the town, and everyone's like in the town square, just like staring off at something, but we don't know what. They're staring off at something, and Soren marches in. He's like, I have a traitor here. He's being charged for treason. He's going to be charged for treason. We need to lock him up in your jail. Do you guys have a jail here? But nobody answers him because everyone's too preoccupied with whatever they're staring at. And then we get this camera shift, and the dragon flies by, and everyone's like staring at it. And like, oh no, it's back. But something's different. This dragon is a red dragon. It's not the blue dragon that we've been used to seeing. Like, it's not the king of the dragons.
It's not. Because the only dragons we've seen have been in flashback, or the baby dragon.
Right.
And the flashbacks are always the Dragon King.
Yes. There's a dragon. Why haven't you guys done anything about it? And the guard's just like, well, it's been showing up like once a week or something like that. It's been like showing up regularly. And so I was like, but you haven't done anything about it? What? And he points up to Tara and says, what do you have those ballistas for? And he hasn't done anything to threaten us yet. It's just there, so why should we attack it? Soren's like, Soren runs up to the top of the tower and he shoots at it with the ballista. And the dragon's just like, oh, it's on, like Donkey Kong, my dudes. And your dragon rolls up his sleeve.
But, like, this dragon's also in the world. I don't remember where we've seen it, but there's not, like, a ton of promotional art for it. And this thing looks freaking dope.
Yes, it does.
Hey, Marcus, this is me recording the podcast. Look up the picture of the dope dragon and put it in the edit so people can see what we're talking about.
Yes.
But, like, I think we're going to meet this dragon at some point. And I can't wait, is what I'm saying.
My question is this an original story or is it based on, like, a novel, like a book or something?
I believe it's an original story.
Because if there's a source material, I want to find that.
Hold on. Keep talking.
Um,
Go about the episode, I'll figure it out.
right. So, Soren runs up to the tower and he shoots at the dragon with the ballista, and the dragon's just like, oh, it's on my dude. And he flies in and he just razes the town, sets the whole thing on fire. And so then Claudia joins Soren at the top of the tower and puts an enchantment on a ballista projectile. And and then Claudia shoots at the dragon, but she misses, and Soren's just like, "Oh, great, you dingus, you missed the dragon." But it turns out the enchantment was to track the dragon. So the projectile is just flying through the air, chasing after the dragon. It sprouts these cool phoenix wings, like magic phoenix wings, and it's chasing after the dragon. It hits the dragon. For a second. So then the dragon goes down and he crashes in a field, but before he crashes, he flies just meters overhead of our main group, and they're like, oh no. And like the whole time they've been watching from the mountain in the distance, like, why is the dragon attacking that town? Rayla and Callum are super confused. It's not normal, and Callum's worried about the people in the town. But they're not going to go do anything about it because they're just people. They can't find a dragon. So it crashes, and they decide, Rayla, Ezran, and Callum decide that they can't go help the dragon because that'd be too dangerous. But then Rayla feels super bad about not helping the dragon. What?
It's just an original story.
It's an original story?
Dude, freaking, and it's the people who made Avatar. Just give him an award. Freaking,
It's
just
so good.
frick me, dude. It's so... Okay, keep going, dude. I want to meet this guy, though.
Mm-hmm. So they run off, but I switched again. Rayla is feeling kind of guilty about not going to see if they can help the dragon. So eventually she says, you know what? You guys just stay here in this cave. They hide in this cave because it starts raining. So like, you know what? Stay in this cave. I'm gonna go help the dragon. So she runs off, and when she gets there, Soren and Claudia and all of the guards from the city have already tied up the dragon because they've decided that they are going to cut the dragon up into pieces and take it back home because Lord Viren wanted them to bring back the little baby dragon. But they thought, what if we bring him a fully grown dragon? So they hatched this plot to take the big dragon back in pieces. And when Rayla finds him, she does this ninja stealth stuff and sneaks around all the guards, kills at least 3 people, and like they're for sure dead. Like, no doubt about it. She's like, it all happens off screen, but based on the circumstances around it, yeah, they're for sure dead. It's like she pulls one guy behind a rock, and then she comes out from behind the rock, and the guy doesn't. And then she chucks a spear at another guy, and the spear hits him off screen, but she threw the spear point forward. He's for sure dead. So yeah, she's sneaking around, killing people, and then she starts cutting the ropes on the dragon, and then she gets around to the other side of the dragon. So she starts on one side, cuts all those ropes, and then comes around to the other side. Soren's waiting right there for her, and they have this fight again. And I'm really glad that, like, Soren hasn't just been a comedic relief character. Like, he's actually competent as a sword fighter, as a swordsman. He's competent, and so getting to see him like square off against Rayla is really cool because there are some times like there have been multiple times where he's had her bested, and it's only because of random chance that she ends up coming out on top. So this time, the random chance that saves her skin is the rain gets harder, or it starts raining. I can't remember if it started raining yet at this point.
Yeah, it gets harder.
Yeah, so the rain gets harder, and then that wakes up the dragon because it's a fire dragon, so the rain kind of hurts it or something.
Steam is coming off the dragon.
Steam's coming off the dragon. I don't know if that hurts the dragon or not, but like getting wet. But it wakes up the dragon.
I'm sure it doesn't hurt him.
Getting wet? Yeah. Oh dear, no.
We'll do a clap so I know where to edit. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know why I make those jokes all the time. Like I make like 3 of those jokes, and the second you make one, I just act
You were
super
confused about it.
No,
Yeah.
I knew exactly what you're saying. I act super disappointed.
Gosh dang it, Carson. I also want to apologize. I was looking on my phone trying to figure out more stuff about Dragon Prince and stuff. I couldn't find what I was looking for, but I realized I'm on camera now. So, like, people, it just looks like I'm super not paying attention, and I promise.
Yeah, for like 5 minutes there, you were just...
I was just, like, trying to fit, like, and you're talking, I was like, we could do that before it was a video podcast, because nobody could tell. So, I was paying attention, I'm not being a bad host.
Sure.
Keep going.
I can't suffer from that problem because my phone is what we're using to record.
Yo, dude. There were multiple episodes you would be having full-on text conversations before we were video.
Not on camera.
We would be at Michael's house recording 3 episodes in one night, and you'd just be sitting there texting freaking different cosplay people you met at the con that was going on. I'd be like, come on, idiot. We're in the middle of our show.
Yeah.
So, it's okay. It balances out. Keep going.
Yep. So, oh crap, where was I? Oh yeah, so the rain wakes up the dragon, and
he goes, surprise, mother.
And he's like struggling under the chains and stuff like that, because not only was he roped up, but he was also chained up, and Rayla couldn't cut the chains, because, you know, chains.
Trying to break the chains, but the chains only bring me down. You know who that is?
Taylor Swift?
It's a boy. I'll give you that. I'll give you a hint.
Taylor Swift?
Keep going.
So the dragon's like stuck under the chains. But then we cut back over to the cave, and Callum is like just sitting there watching Ezran and Zim and Bait kind of just playing and chilling, and Ezran's like not Ezran. Callum's like, you know what? I can't just sit here. I have to go help Rayla. So he jumps up and he runs over there, and he shows. And when he shows up, he's like, he steals Claudia's spell book and a magical creature out of her bag. And he's like, everyone stop, or else I'm going to do a spell, and I'm going to make you stop. And Claudia's like, Callum, don't do it. It's dark magic is super dangerous for people. Like, if you've never been taught how to do it. And then Callum's like, but you've already taught me a few spells. You've already taught me how. So he does a spell. He kills the little magic slug thing, and then by squeezing the life out of it. And
do you think they're going to talk about the repercussions of dark magic and him doing that? Maybe.
They might. That'd be cool if they did actually have that consistency there. But yeah,
I bet they do.
He crushes it, and then he starts chanting.
He crushes it and also crushes it. He does such a good job. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah. So he does. He starts doing the chanting stuff in the backwards audio, whatever method they use for the chanting.
I think that's what they do.
Backwards audio.
Yeah.
It sounds like it.
I'm tempted to record it. I mean, I have a thing that can flip it on here, so I'm tempted to record it with my computer and then flip it and see if it says anything.
Yeah. So then...
Should we do that right now?
Not right now, but maybe when we're done recording.
But right now. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
And he does a spell that turns the chains binding the dragon into snakes, and the snakes, start chasing the...
It's the same one Claudia did to the illusions of him and Ezran. Yes.
So then the dragon gets up, and everyone runs off. And Rayla's like, we need to go, Callum, because Callum passes out from doing the spell. So she picks him up.
Because he's a little baby.
He's, what, 15?
Yeah, what a baby.
Okay, cool.
Have your balls dropped by the time you're 15?
His haven't. I was about to make that joke.
Heck, dog. I think we can say that. It's like a puberty joke. Can we say that?
don't know. We should probably take it out.
I'll probably leave it in.
You can leave it in? Okay.
Dude, it's freaking edgy this time, dude.
Yeah. Talking about natural processes.
Knives.
Sex.
I was doing edgy stuff.
Oh.
Get it? Knives?
Mine was edgy too.
Soren was fighting the dragon.
And because everyone else ran off, like to try and get to safety. So Rayla and Callum, well, Rayla throws Callum over her back, and then like she runs off with them, and then Claudia runs off. Oh, excuse me.
You just gravelled though. That was insane.
Runs off with the guards, and then Soren's fighting the dragon, but the dragon hits. Where were we? Yeah, so he the dragon goes and he hits Soren with his tail, flings him into a rock, and we hear it crack, and Soren falls to the ground.
There's apparently all of Soren's bones,
Every bone in his body. His booty.
including his booty. He broke his butt. What an idiot! He broke his freaking butt.
I hate femur fractures. JK, the femur's the leg. I know anatomy.
I don't really, dude. Can you tell me what this freaking thing is? I'm so confused by it.
Maybe get closer to inspect it. So then
They just so the dragon turns around
and then there's and then we find out that it cuts over to Ezran, who's playing hide and seek with Bait and Zim. So then Ezran finds Bait, but then he turns around and realizes, oh no, playing hide and seek with a baby dragon was a bad idea.
a baby dragon I'm supposed to keep safe.
Yeah, so he runs after Zim to try and find him, and then so then we cut back over to the big dragon. He turns around, and
the
there,
dragon
right in front
prince
of him,
there.
is the prince of
Roll
the dragons.
credits.
Ding!
Go ahead. Sorry.
The prince of the dragons is there. Zim is right there, and he's like, little scared baby dragon. The big dragon is just like, oh, okay, gotta stop now, and
He like realized that he was and it's like a neat moment. I don't know how sentient dragons are. Do you think a dragon they're gonna meet like another big like that dragon I showed you the picture of that looks big and awesome? And he's gonna be like, yeah, I can use words, bud.
he looked like a dragon that could use words.
And they can talk to him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because dragons are usually really intelligent in a lot of fantasy. So, like, obviously the dragon didn't kill everybody in the scenario because the prince is alive. And they thought the prince was dead. So, like, he's going to leave and spread that to the other dragons. So, like, I'm wondering, are dragons going to communicate with humans at some point?
I think that'd be cool.
I think it'd be dope. I was just wondering. But then they kind of just, they leave and then you find out that's like when I made the joke about Soren's bones being broken, Soren seems paralyzed.
Yep, back
Which,
rope.
like, the first time I watched that felt like a lot more impactful to me. Because, excuse me. I was like, frick. Like, that's like such a big commitment for the rest of the show, but they'll probably just fix it with magic. I realize that now. A show with
Unless
magic.
they leave him paralyzed.
Like, they could, but they'll probably fix it with magic.
And that's like his punishment for being a bad person.
They'll fix it, like, he might not ever be back up to 100%, but they'll fix a lot of it with magic. Like, he'll walk again. Because, like, how do you have an attack? Like, who's going to be the antagonist for the rest of the season if it's not him?
Viren.
The Viren's nowhere near the boys.
Astral projection.
Speaking of astral projection, the last thing that happens is the B plot. Viren goes back to that weird wizard, cuts himself, and the wizard
Super
cuts
edgy.
himself. And then, yeah, dude, he's just like, so cut my wrists and black my... I think we made that joke last episode. He cuts himself and then bleeds in the cup, and then...
Crawling in my skin.
You could slit my throat, and with my one last gasping breath, I'd apologize for bleeding on your shoes.
I tried so hard and got so far.
One
But in
day,
the end-
I don't know why, it doesn't even matter how hard I try. I'm empty, I feel so gosh dang empty.
Why are we like this.
So Viren, I think, because again, it was even worse as I think we did the exact same bit last episode.
Last time he tried to cut himself.
Yeah, dude, but this time he didn't freaking wimp out and
This
he does
time
it.
he just straight up
He
cuts
does it.
himself.
And
Lets
then
some blood into the bowl.
And then the weird wizard guy opens his mouth and puts a worm in his cup, and then the worm comes out on Viren's side, and then the worm crawls up and gets next to his ear and then talks into his ear.
He says, "Speak so that I may hear you."
And it's the creepiest thing I've seen in a lot of TV, counting adult TV shows.
And, like, you can tell that Viren is, like, obviously creeped out by this for sure, like, big time.
And then Viren kind of just goes, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I've been waiting for to hear the voice of another person for a really long time.
Now, how may I serve you?"
Credits. This show owns, dude.
It's so good!
I
Kind of sad that it's almost done.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not almost done. This season is.
And it's going to be like 8 years before we get our
I
next
think
season.
I think it's this year. We're late to the game on season 2.
Yeah, we were.
However, no matter what, we will quit whatever show we're in the middle of to do Dragon Prince season 3.
Yes.
For a few reasons. 2, mainly. 1,
We're the only ones talking about
we
it.
want to watch it really bad. 2, not a lot of people are talking about the Dragon Prince, and it's a good way to get people to watch and notice our show. If when the show's going on and just releases, if we're one of the first people to talk about it. So, that's going to do it for this episode. Remember, guys, we have merch. So if you want to support us, feel free to go find that link. Me and Carson were talking about a shirt idea that Michael had the other day.
Don't tell them what it is.
Oh, no, of course not. No. My A Butt Kicked is Not a Butt Trick shirt is going to be up this Saturday, I think.
This Saturday.
Like,
but by the time this is posted, it'll be like
forever
4
ago.
Saturday. Yeah,
Yeah.
forever ago.
But this Saturday, by the time this is posted, Michael's going to help me do it. I don't know exactly how to do it, so I'm going to get Michael to help me when I record Live Situated with him. So, there's that. But we have merch up right now. We got the hat that Carson's wearing. We have our regular stuff. It's really comfortable. I like it a lot. It's all fairly durable. We get the merch and test it out before we put it up there. So if you want to help us out in that way, that'd be great. Feel free to do so. They make great gifts. So if you are like, I would never be caught dead supporting those idiots, you could give us money and send it to an idiot friend of yours who would be caught supporting these idiots. Also, there's a donate button, so if you don't want to kick as much money our way,
Everyone's got Ian in their friend group.
If you want to kick some money our way, and maybe you don't want to spend as much as it costs for a hoodie or a t-shirt or something, you can still get some money our way, and it helps out. The best way you can help out this show doesn't even cost you any money, though. It's simply through
Word of mouth,
liking, subscribing, sharing, all of that stuff. Any way that you can comment, rate, like, subscribe, any of that stuff means a lot more on the back end for like us to figure out analytics and things on our end, and that kind of thing helps a ton. The more that I learn about, I know less than Michael does. Michael's researched a lot more, and that's why he does the things that he does for the site. But the more I learn about it, the more I'm like, holy crap, that means more than I thought it ever did. And like, from learning about this, I'm now becoming the person who likes a lot more YouTube videos from creators I like and stuff like that. Especially when they're experimenting with a new thing. I'm like, I want to like that, so you keep making it. I like it a lot, and this was a risk for you to do, so I want to go out of my way to make sure it helps you. You know what I mean? That stuff means a lot. It helps a lot. Share with your friends. Hey, you listened to it, so you clearly like it. I'm sure you have at least one friend who you can...
You've made it this far, so you've got to like it.
Yeah, so, just share the thing, please. And thank you for listening. Just please remember to
Tune in next time.